Hello YouTube, welcome to my YouTube channel, Anna Bella, and today I am going to be reviewing Bridgerton Season 3 Part 1. We've only had 4 episodes so far. The rest of the other 4 episodes will be released in June. Bridgerton, I have a love-hate relationship with it. Basically the good things, and there are some, the expansion of Cressida and understanding her parents and her background explains so much more of her behaviour. So I'm liking that we're delving into that. Eloise is widening her interest and encouraging the other women to have different conversations, not just about needlepoint, though needlepoint is very important for them to talk about. And I actually am liking the fact that it's recognising that different couples have different chemistry. So I really like Hyacinth's silence, and I'm liking the fact that some people can just be fine being together. They don't have to continually babble away and chat. That actually silence is really necessary sometimes. If you're able to sit with somebody in silence and not say anything, you've actually said an awful lot without even opening your mouth. So I really like that. So I like the woman friendships, I like the Hyacinth love story. I think that's really good, and I'm liking the fact that it's reserved and it's in the background and not front and centre like Daphne or Anthony. But we'll get on to stuff I didn't like. Oh, the Colin and Pen, that's just been going on and on and on, and I know we had to wait for Colin to really grow up, but why on earth did it take him 2 tours? Because his first tour he went around Greece, he's come back from his second tour and he's clearly lost his virginity in brothels. So whoopee for Colin. It's so double standardy, it's ick. The Pen thing, I think that there's an actress, she is absolutely stunningly beautiful, and I'm really liking her character actually, and I think that her and her mother get on really well. Even though they dislike each other, they're actually really similar, and I think the reason her mother got all those books in the house was because her first 2 daughters didn't read and were stupid, and she wanted her 3rd child to actually have a brain, and you really see that in some of the scenes with her siblings, and they're like, but how is Pen in this race? And it's like, well, you haven't got any children even though you are married. Pen is determined. So I'm liking that. It is sad that they are looking at marriage as their only option to live a bit of life, but that's Regency England. Another thing that is really annoying me is there aren't any soldiers. And the Napoleonic Wars at this time are going on. We haven't seen anybody from the army. We haven't seen any members of the clergy. We haven't seen any of the professions. Yes, we have seen lawyers, we have seen doctors, but they've been pushed around a lot. What is really important is if you're the second son or the second daughter from a titled person, you would have to go and get a job. For the second son, it was usually either the clergy, having a parish on the estate, so you'd get a living, like Wickham was supposed to have. He'd get a living, which means a house, and then he'd have to give sermons in the Church of England. Yeah? Second, they would often join the army. That was the other option. A lot of people with titles and without titles, so Right Honourable, sons of so-and-so, Lord this, that, the other, the Right Honourable lot would go into the army or the navy because it was a steady income and it was respectable and it was doing your duty for king and country. We don't see any of this, and that's disturbing. And the fact that the new family, that their son has been ennobled, well, what would happen with that is their new son who's been ennobled would either go to Eton when he's 13, or like Harrow, a big public school, or he'd be sent to prep school to prep him for that. His family would still stay as they are because it's hit only the child that has been ennobled, not the rest of the family, the child. So when the child would be 18 after going to Eton, he would then get his estate, and very possibly his father could come with him as an estate manager and his legal guardian up until that point, and they'd have meetings with the lawyers and so forth. But his parents either would retain guardianship of him, or seeing as he's been ennobled, that could be given over to the solicitor, and his parents would only be consulted at various points. And obviously he'd go and see them on a birthday and Christmas, but for the most of the time he would actually be raised in another upper class household. His family, his birth family, would stay very much as they are. The brother may decide when he's an adult to help out his siblings, because they would benefit from having a brother in the ton, but not his parents. His parents' status would stay the same. They wouldn't get the big house. It belongs to their son who's been ennobled. Just to clear that up. And the fact that they're being pressured to give up the club, that's a gentleman's club. Let me explain what gentlemen's clubs are. They're not bars and they're not public houses. Public houses are for the general public to use. So if you were going to have a meeting that, say, didn't require confidentiality, you'd go and meet in a respectable pub. And there were respectable pubs. There's a whole layer. If you're going to have a meeting in a gentleman's club is a place where a man, say he's a lawyer or working in one of the professions or a gentleman, he would go there to rest, yeah, after dealing with his businesses. We're not seeing enough of the merchant class, and I'm not talking tradespeople. I'm talking about merchants, buying and selling of stuff. This is the British Empire, people. Regardless of whatever they've done, it was still there. So where is the tea? Where is the silk? Where is the china? Where is the cotton? Where is the tobacco? Yeah? This is where it becomes really tricky, because a lot of these rich people were involved in trade, whether it be the mahogany wood trade, which is a euphemism for the slave trade, or whatever. They were involved in it. They were investing. These people did work. They just called it professions and they called it business. Just clearing that up. They weren't open about it, but they were doing that. That's why they had estate managers to manage their estates at home. We're not seeing far enough. We're not seeing enough of their lives in the country. The Bridgertons wouldn't have that massive house in town. You'd have a townhouse if you could afford both having a town and a country pile. Most people didn't. Most people actually would rent an apartment for the season or rent a townhouse and then go back to the country pile, because the country pile was healthier. Yeah? You wouldn't stay in town. You really wouldn't. It was very unhealthy, very dirty. You'd only stay in town if you're a lawyer or a doctor, or engaged in some business, cough, cough, the merchant class. We're not seeing enough of that. I get that we've got Benedict, who is patron of the arts. That makes sense. Anthony is actually doing the wise thing in allowing his mother to do that kind of stuff. But that's just me. This is just really irksome. It's not realistic, and I know it's supposed to be realistic. But overall, this season, I'm going to give it a 3.5. That's basically it. So like, comment and subscribe, and I'm hoping that you're staying safe wherever you are. Bye.